They have a.
Good morning. Welcome to the special meeting conference on Tuesday, September 9th. In accordance with New Jersey law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Star Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and the public at large, establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. In addition, the agenda for this meeting was disseminated on September 5th at the time of preparation and posted on the city's website. Roll call, please.
Council. Gonzalez.
Present.
Kelly.
Here.
Quintana.
Here.
Ramos. Scott Roundtree. Absent. Silva. Absent. President Crump.
Present.
Council President, council members, we are on page 3 of this agenda. Ordinances on public hearing, second reading, and final passage. 6P SFAS is an ordinance authorizing a special emergency appropriation. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance?
No speakers. Public hearing is closed. No, there are no speakers. Public hearing is closed.
Can we have Ben explain what?
Explain it again? All right. Director, if you can come up and just explain.
Good morning, Council President, council members. Benjamin Guzman, Acting Director of Finance. This ordinance for the special emergency appropriation is to cover the costs of the, I'm sorry, the words escape me here, severance liability.
Yeah.
To cover the cost for the retro salaries. A municipality is permitted to declare a special emergency so that way they can budget for it over a 5-year period and either raise it incrementally over the 5-year period, or if need be, sell bond anticipation notes and then pay those off over that same 5-year period.
Yes.
What's the amount of this?
The special emergency is for $20 million.
Councilman.
Not related to this, but in the last meeting, I requested the leases and the payments related to this.
Yeah, correct. We are gathering that information and we'll be providing to yourself and to the council shortly.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, thank you. Questions from the council? Hearing none. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roll call.
Council.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Scott Roundtree.
Yes.
Silva. Absent. President Crump.
Yes.
Resolutions. 7R8AS is a hold harmless and indemnification agreement for the Golden Queen event at Newark Symphony Hall, sponsored by Councilman Quintana.
Is it, Councilman?
I just want to state for the record, I want to be very clear. I want to give you a copy in case, the season is going to hit sooner or later, political season. Just want to let them know that this is at no taxpayer's expense. Be very clear. There's no taxpayer's expense at Symphony Hall. All the money has been raised to pay for the rental and everything that goes with this. The only thing we request the city is to support this event so that there's any situations that we are protected. But I want to state that on record so that later when the season starts, this is not viewed as a political gathering. Just want to state that for the record to the administration.
Thank you, Councilman Quintana. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Ramos. Roll call.
Council.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Scott Roundtree.
Yes.
Silva. Absent. President Crump.
Yes.
B is an exception to public bidding for the Gov Pilot subscription for our license and Oprah platform. Council as a whole to adopt.
Roll call.
Council.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Quintana. Ramos.
Yes.
Scott Roundtree.
Yes.
Silva. Absent. President Crump.
Yes.
We are in the 30-minute public comment portion of this meeting where each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name for the record. Is there anyone wishing to address the council?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, members of council. My name is David Americonnor, and I'm an attorney at the law firm of Dwayne Morris. I'm here to provide public comment on behalf of my client, Benjamin Moore and Company, which has operated a paint manufacturing facility in the city of Newark since 1925. The addresses of Benjamin Moore's Newark facility are 114 to 120 Lister Avenue, 122 to 152 Lister Avenue, and Lister Avenue rear. Benjamin Moore is proud to call Newark its home, and it has been a good corporate citizen of the city for decades. Benjamin Moore has made continual investments in its property in its decades of operation, and it employs 84 people at the facility, many of whom are residents of the city of Newark or Essex County more broadly. We are here today to provide public comment in this forum because our efforts to engage the Department of Economic and Housing Development and the Department of Law on a matter of significant importance to Benjamin Moore have been unsuccessful. Those departments have not responded to a letter that I sent on June 23rd, copies of which I have for each of you, and numerous follow-up letters and phone calls. In brief, the issue is as follows. Benjamin Moore's property on Lister Avenue has been within an area designated as blighted since the 1960s. After decades of inactivity, in 2017, the city entered into a redevelopment agreement with the Morris Companies, purporting to grant to the Morris Companies, or an entity of the Morris Companies, the power of eminent domain to acquire property for redevelopment. Obviously, Benjamin Moore was and is quite concerned about the possibility of losing its manufacturing facility. Efforts to litigate the validity of the blight designation were unsuccessful, as the courts affirmed that Benjamin Moore was too late to challenge the designation. So Benjamin Moore took a different approach, asking the city to conduct a new study and consider redesignating the property. The city did so. And in August 2024, this council adopted a resolution designating the properties as a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment and directed the Central Planning Board to create a new redevelopment plan for this area under the modern local redevelopment and housing law. Since then, it appears that no progress has been made on the new redevelopment plan. We are asking that the city follow through on its promise to develop a new redevelopment plan and to involve Benjamin Moore in discussions about the future of its property. In addition, given the facts just described, we also believe that the current redevelopment agreement between the city and the Morris Companies is invalid for two reasons. First, Morris missed a required deadline to acquire properties for redevelopment or to request from the city the authority to condemn properties.
I hate to say it, thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments. Unfortunately, your time has expired.
Understood, Mr. President. Thank you. Can I leave copies of the letter that I sent for each of the members of council?
Absolutely. Sylvester, if you can get that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
Deborah Salter, City of Newark. Now, I was trying to let things be. As you all know, I teach safety. I teach OSHA 30. I teach CPR first aid AED training. I did a class for the affirmative action here in City Hall. Kathy, who was in charge, would enter my class several times, and trying to find out what's going on or whatever. And it was more like, she was deciding who would and who would not get their cards. Fast forward, there's a student who was not, if I could say up to snuff. He was not doing the work. He was on his phone. He actually bucked up at me, telling me all I do is run my mouth and all of this stuff. So he was not getting certified by me. He was not getting authorized by me. From that day to this one, I have been harassed constantly by Kathy, sent harassing text messages, phone calls when I would not respond. So the last 2 threatening ones I received, one was last week, well, I'm going to the mayor on you. Okay, well, you don't know me. Okay. So the last one was yesterday morning. In fact, I want you to hear the disrespect. But see, this is what we suffer in the city when we're not willing to put our credentials on the line just because you're cool with the mayor or the chief of staff. And I will not remain silent. I will not get myself stuck and get my credentials in trouble. The text said, you on some egotistical BS. So because I'm following the rules and I am not going to compromise, I'm on some egotistical BS. This is what happens to those of us who do work in the city. And if the person is not pleased, they're going to run to the mayor and tell on us. I didn't know you were ignorant. I didn't know you were so ignorant. And I know you got paid, but you will never do anything for this city again. That's why you're banned from the food drive. You do too much. You're useless. This is what was texted to me by the employee that works here. So when you talk about corruption in the city of Newark and the things that go on here, this is what happens. But see, people are afraid. I'm not afraid because I was already banned from working in the city in 2018 by MIDI. So, all right, you're too late. But this is what we, the residents, suffer. The bullying, the harassment, the constant walked up on me. What's up, what's up, what's up? Excuse me? Because I'm a professional. My credentials are federally authorized. I don't play games. I stand 10 toes down on business.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker. Seeing none, public speaking is closed. Any comments from the council? Any comments from the administration?
Hi, good morning. Eric Pennington, Business Administrator. Just briefly, with respect to the comments about Benjamin Moore, I did receive a copy of the letter that was referenced by this attorney. I think it's wholly inappropriate for him to come to council without reaching out to me, who is the supervisor of both the law department and economic and housing development, to let me know that there is some issue. It's not my understanding there's an issue with the response. I think this is a letter that we received from this law firm representing Benjamin Moore for the first time. It's interesting that I'm hearing from this gentleman today, since the president of Benjamin Moore met with the mayor and I a little bit over a year ago to talk about the issues that we had. It was my understanding that the issues were resolved. So now that he's bringing this to the council, I'm not exactly sure what he wants the council to do, other than perhaps put pressure on my office or litigation or our law department or economic and housing development to respond. We intend to respond. We will do so in due course. We have outside counsel looking into this. They've raised some complex issues. To the extent that they have not received a response yet, this is the first time I'm hearing about that because he hasn't reached out to me. But we will follow up on that, and to the extent the council should be made aware of things going forward on an ongoing basis, we'll let you know. I don't think that is the case. And if this results in some litigation, obviously you'll find out about it as we move forward. But it's in my purview. We'll address it. And to have this gentleman come up here today without speaking to me, it's a little bit insulting, but I'll deal with it. Any other questions?
Anything from the council? Thank you, Mr. Beard. Roll call to adjourn.
Council,
Yes.
Quintana. Yes. Kelly,
Yes.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Scott Roundtree.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
President Clum.
Yes, adjourned.
Council President, council members, we are now in the special conference portion of this meeting, and the first presentation will be regarding the sanitation and recycling plan by Director Adim.
Director Adi. I don't know where you were just then, but
Good morning, Kareem Adim, Interim Director,
Department of Public Works.
You know, we can't read that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good morning, Council President, council members. So the administration has made some changes over the last couple of weeks. They brought me over to DPW along with Jessica Cavaco, interim assistant director. And just talking on recycling right now, we're running a pilot program on the recycling. And we started back picking up recycling at night, the night before, at 10 o'clock. What the ordinance, we're in line with what the ordinance actually says, right? The ordinance says we can start picking up between 12 and 6 in the morning. So we come out we have a crew that now we have signed our 25 trucks. We average about 25 trucks a day that go out to pick up recycling at night, which allows us to get through a lot of the streets a little easier. So the pilot program has been going on. This is in our third week. It's about 80% so far that we're seeing, results where we're getting a lot of recycling. We're still struggling a little bit with equipment needs, but we're making drastic changes to address those needs at the same time. The administration has been very supportive. What you see right there, although I just got the draft back last night, these will be going out by the end of the week. We tried to have them out last week. It's Zone A and Zone B is in 3 different languages, right? And it's going to link you to the website. It will tell you about your recycling, when you should place it out between the hours of 7 and 10, and that it'll be picked up the night before. You should place your recycling out between 7 and 10 the night before. So if you're in A zone consists of the entire East Ward, parts of the South Wards, from Clinton Avenue south to the Hillside border between Irvington and Elizabeth Avenue, all the way to Freelizing. That would be parts of the South Ward, Zone 7. And in the North Ward, Zone A, in the North Ward, Zone A is from Clifton Avenue to Lake Street, all the way back to Tiffany Boulevard, all the way over to 7th Avenue and the Webster Street and Broadway, that area. So the intent is to notify the entire public, every city residents in Zone A and Zone B of when they should put their garbage out. Also, the downtown area is also in Zone A. Zone A pickup is on Mondays and Thursdays, but at Sunday night, we'll start picking up the recycling. And hopefully in Zone A on Wednesday night, we'll start picking up the recycling going into Thursday morning. We're still waiting on 8 electric trucks. We got news from the vendor that they're making adjustments to the transmission. I think they had some problems with the electric trucks, those same kind that we ordered in Jackson, Mississippi. We're looking at probably sending in 1 or 2 of our employees to Jackson just to understand what that really was before we receive those additional 8 garbage trucks. The city did purchase 5 garbage trucks last year for recycling, and we purchased 6 smaller trucks for recycling this year and 1 front loader recycling truck to pick up our front load recycling boxes. With that, I think I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Director. I do have a question, and then just in terms of what you mentioned downtown, recycling, you want them to put out recycling on Sundays. A lot of businesses are closed on Sundays. So how is that going to affect it? Because what I envision or see, which may be a problem, is that some of these businesses will put it out on the night before, on Saturday, when they close, and it'll be there over a couple of days. Has that been contemplated or thought out? Because, one Monday morning, they may put it out too, and that's actually maybe too late. So has that been contemplated in determining?
So 2 things. 1, Councilman, we don't pick up businesses. They're supposed to get private pickup. Most businesses downtown, everybody, they get private pickup. We do have a stagger crew that comes back and does like a clean sweep to make sure if we left any residual. Even today, if somebody out right now, just supervisors riding to see if any residuals that were left from last night. That's a part of having a concrete plan, right? Somebody still needs to go through these districts that were supposed to be picked up to make sure nothing wasn't left. But downtown mainly is picked up privately.
But you and I both know that some of these businesses put stuff out.
Right, they still do. That's why the sanitation inspectors, as of last week, 2 weeks ago, were put back in DPW.
Mhm.
So we got them going out in those same zones that we'll be in to cite those people. But also, we reinstituted our normal stuff when we ride through downtown, by working with NDD to make sure stuff is supposed to be picked up, will be picked up.
All right. Thank you, Director. Councilman Silva. they got his hand.
Yeah, Director, I just have a quick question. Just a little bit off the subject, but it still falls under you guys. The street sweepers.
Mhm.
I noticed like in the east, a lot of times we only get like 2 of them. And I think there was supposed to be at least 4 in the east. Is there a breakdown in the sweepers? What's happening with them?
Thank you. Good. Thank you, Council President, Councilman Silva. So a month ago, when we arrived in DPW, there was only 2 street sweepers working. They were out at the shop being repaired. As of Monday, it's 6 street sweepers working. There's 3 more still out in the shop. I think 1 is supposed to come back Friday. Right, so we've been juggling to have those around, get those back at. So as there's more street sweepers come back in, right, we'll be supplying an added amount of street sweepers everywhere. And the council is also, not the council, the administration has also put money in the budget for us to purchase additional 5 sweepers. Right, with the bond that we're waiting to get approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Councilman Ramos, I think.
Yeah, just a quick question, Director. The code enforcement side of like sanitation, is that under you or is that under engineering?
So the Council President, Councilman Raymond, the sanitation inspectors is under DPW. However, we do collaborate with code on some issues. Our guys are mainly responsible for the outside. Code go a little more inside.
Yeah, I've
We do
mentioned a few times at the meetings, like I have a few like apartment buildings that will put out garbage way too early, and that obviously, the kind of quality of life issues that result because of that. And, I'm hopeful that under your leadership, we can get out there more aggressively and find some of these apartment building owners and operators, because sometimes they'll put out garbage the day before early in the morning. And you're not talking about 10, 15 bags. You're talking, in some cases, hundreds of bags on the sidewalk, literally out there for 24 hours before pickup. So, I'm on Prospect, Broadway. There's a few apartment building owners that are doing this week after week. So, just hopeful that you guys can get out there and, send them a message. It creates a lot more work for your team unnecessarily. So.
Council President, Councilman Ramos, yes, we've also worked with the administration that we say is a dire need to increase the amount of sanitation inspectors we have. DPW should be a 24-hour operation. And when we do things 24 hours, we need to have the adequate staffing around those 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's one of the areas we're looking at.
Yeah, the other thing too is, you guys did a great job of getting out these new cans, trash cans, and some people, they're hiding them in their yards, like there's some kind of valuable piece of property instead of using them. So, we don't want to be unfair to our homeowners, but I think at some point they need to utilize these assets that you guys made available to them. And, they were given for a purpose, right? Because they have the lids, it reduces rodent activity and makes the pickup easier. And, I talk to residents all the time and I'm like, look, you have to use these cans. You can't just stash them in your yard and, wait for the future. You got to make use of these trash cans now. So I don't know what kind of strategy you guys are going to implement moving forward to make it known to residents and homeowners that they have to use these new trash cans.
Yes, Councilman Ramos. 2 things. One, I think is a little more public education. So in the next couple of weeks or next month, hopefully we'll be putting out more literature around keeping the city clean and beautifying our city, whether it's billboards, mailers, or different type of things. We're revising our website. Just want people to be held accountable to help us clean the city up, right? Using the garbage cans is a great thing. Putting the recycle in the blue recycling cans. Flattening the cardboard. You walk around a lot of time and the cardboard just, you got it from Amazon, they just throw it out there when it was said to be flat and tied or things like that. So I think it's a little more public education that we might have gotten away from because we thought everybody know. we just need to make sure we reiterate that every year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
Real quick, and then I'm going to Councilman Kelly. Can we get the brochures that you're going to mail out? Can we also get them electronically sent to the council?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And we'll share it with our networks. Councilman Kelly, and then
Thank you, Council Pres. Great day to you, Director. There's just a couple, you mentioned something about the recycling, the street sweepers that we were down. I have a couple of smaller blocks in the West Ward who claim they never received street sweeping. And I think I text you on it, but I just wanted to make sure that they get some service. I don't know if that's because we haven't had the street sweepers available, and maybe the smaller blocks get forgotten. But my office gets those calls like crazy. So now that we're getting adequate amount of street sweeping, some of those that I've texted you, hopefully we can get them serviced. Another thing is some of those blocks too, like the block Record, smaller blocks, they also say that they haven't had, not street sweeping, but they haven't had recycled picked up. And then after I did some investigation, some of our seniors were confused about which day to put out the cardboard, which day to put out the bottles. So I think I text you on that, and it was reversed. They put out, I believe that's why it wasn't picked up. But there is still little smaller blocks who I think we need to educate, like you're saying, because they're putting out the cardboards and the trash and on wrong days. So I guess the service is the workers are not picking it up. They're not collecting it because it's a wrong day. Is that
Well, if you
what
put it out on the wrong day, I mean, we already picked it up. Or you putting it out too early.
Well, what I mean is they might put out bottles on the cardboard day.
Yes.
So they won't pick it up, right?
No.
Okay. Because we have some of our seniors who are yelling my office ear off because they can't put it out. So they'll have somebody put it out, and it's because it's the wrong day. Now it stays out there until the next pickup, and that's probably why, they're calling me, screaming at me. So I'm calling, but then when I send my team out, I'm realizing you put out cardboard on bottles day. So, but just so I can know to let them know, we won't collect it if it's bottles on a cardboard day and cardboard on the bottles day, even
No,
if it's the same.
we normally get complaints like that. We send supervision out and ask them to pull it back in, notify their right day. That's why we're doing the mailing, right? It's gonna go to every household, right? Telling them what zone they in. So this mailing just don't tell you what zone you in. When you look at this mailing, you're gonna scan this QR code that's on here. This QR code takes you to the website. You type in your address, similar to when we had the lead service line program. You'll type in your address, the legend will drop down. Your garbage day is Tuesdays and Fridays. Your recycling day is Tuesdays and Fridays. Your bulk day is the second Wednesday of every month. The fourth Wednesday of every month is your leaf pickup day. So all that'll be on there. How many bulk, no more than 10 bulk items, right, per dwelling. Things like that. What we do pick up on bulk, what we don't pick up on bulk. So we just want to make sure we're educating the public on how to put it.
I tested it out myself. It works very well. But just another question, and this is just for the record and for our elders and our seniors listening. If we call about that mix-up and there's supervision that goes out, will our collectors, will our workers pull things from the side of their house or put things on the side? They won't, right?
No, it depends on it depends. Supervisor, if he's in the pickup truck, he's probably going to pick it up and just take it, right?
All right, because that was asking.
We still need to let the residents know, right, on the correct day. So part of that is making sure we're riding around, our supervision riding around with literature to give out, right? And our code and our sanitation inspectors having the same literature, right? We don't want to fine everybody because sometimes it's just a mix-up. That's why after the next couple of months, when we notify everybody with the mailings, the billboards, the Channel 78, whatever we need to do, you've been, told or warned on the proper day to get your garbage.
Thank you very much, Director.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes, two things, Director. The first one is thank you for picking up the garbage on 3rd Avenue, I think it was. And there is still some, apparently people went back because you cleaned it, so people went back and put some more garbage there. And the second is on the recycling bins for bottles and plastic. In my case, mine is all destroyed because they throw it. So I have mine with tape all over the place. I have new ones, but I want to show the people collecting the recycling that they shouldn't be doing that because they are destroying city property. In my case, I have blue tape all over it so that they see that what they have done. But I don't understand why they continue to do that. They continue to throw the containers, and that's costing the city money.
Council President, Councilman Gonzalez, yeah, we're trying to address that also, by making sure that we're following up with that personnel. I want to say probably last week, we just finished installing, I think 90% of the cameras in our trucks that got upgrades in the DPW vehicle. So we'll be watching that a little closely as we look to build out a command center where we can in real time see video and see what people are doing to hold them accountable.
Especially in the winter when they say it's cold and the containers are brittle, they throw them and they destroy them.
Right. Through our leadership, we hoping to hold those employees accountable for that. Educate them too.
Councilman Council.
Director Dean. How many garbage trucks do we have in total?
50.
And the plan is to have how many more to be effective in route collection?
Plan is to have about 15 more. Of those 50, it's about 36 that's actually operable and working today.
So the actual count will be the 36 plus the 15? So you said we
50.
have 50, but only 36 are operable?
Yes.
So with the addition of the 36, then we'll have 51 that'll be operable.
Yes.
And then how many street sweepers do we have? It said, I think you said 9, right? We got 6 working, 3 in the shop.
We have 11.
11.
Right. We have 6 working. We have 3 that's in the shop. I think we're going to pick up 2 and 3 that need to go to the shop.
And the goal is to get how many more to be effective in street sweeper?
The goal is to have a total number of 15 street sweepers and 2 on reserve, just in case when one go down, we can put 1 in.
That works, the total area in the city. So do we still do the CBD areas as well with street sweeping, the downtown district area, or has that been turned over to NDD?
Not yet. We still doing it, but the goal is to turn that over to NDD. Work with them on getting one of the smaller sweepers to ravel some of the ones when you were there, so they can do it downtown.
What is the plan to change the usage of the clean community funds? I know in the past with clean community funds, we were able to, purchase trucks as long as we put recycling and things on there and the recycling containers, but it's also to promote clean city, litter-free, litter in the pre-city. What is the usage or the change that we're gonna have as it relates to working with these clean community funds?
I don't think we need to change it. I just think we need to just use some of it to do what I'm.
And 9 garbage cans in front of them when a 2-family household was only supposed to get 2, 1 family 1, and a 3-family 3.
Both of those questions we need to look into, but yes, the main one that you asked, is everybody's supposed to get a garbage can? Yes, I don't have a time frame on that. We're still working with the administration around funding. The goal was to phase this garbage cans out. Some areas got more than they supposed to. But I think every ward in the city still has the little areas that didn't get garbage cans. But the goal is to continue to phase that out. But we don't have the money right now to just go buy all the garbage cans. It was always supposed to be phased out. And the next phase, when we give garbage cans out, we won't rely on the vendor. We'll rely on the DPW team to actually give them out.
How are we in the Miller 2 area in terms of the detailing crews that we put out, in terms of equipment? Do they have enough equipment in terms of making sure that, the lots that we have to clean up, the illegal dumping that we have to clean up, when we have to go out and cut the tree wells or down these corridors and cut along these corridors, are they equipped with enough equipment, or we assessing or doing an inventory? Now that you're back down there to see what it is that is needed?
Yes, Council President, Councilmember Council, we're still doing an assessment on the Mellow 2 operations and the staffing and equipment. But as we move forward, we'll address what we need.
Yeah.
We look forward to the council support and the administration support in addressing what we need. Garbage recycling is a priority for us, and that's what we're there for.
Thank you. First Councilman Quintana.
Yeah, Director, in terms of Councilman Pat Council just said something very disturbing. It is disturbing. You go to certain places, there's 5 garbage cans for a 2-family. If you go up, we don't have to go too far. Go up to Martin Luther King in Central, make a right there, and you see that in those brown stones that there's boarding homes. There's 6 and 7 of them. I mean, I've counted them, and it's not fair to the taxpayer who lives in a 1-family, can't get one garbage can. The other thing we have to look at is the way that people set up the garbage cans in front of the home after it's done. The ordinance says you must bring it to the side or to the rear. That's the ordinance of the city. And if you go to certain places on different streets, they take the garbage and they put it right in front of the house. And that does not make the city look good. I mean, you go by a place and you got the recycling can in front of the steps. If you go up on Prospect and Broomfield Avenue, you make the right there, they have in front of the house all the garbage containers. We have to do a better job at that. If we have to give them a 13A, give them a 13A. I just think you cannot do this in other towns. And we're allowing things to occur. If you go up to a town like Broomfield or Nutley or anywhere, they don't allow you to put those garbage cans in front of their home, in front of the houses. They got to be on the rear or on the back side of the house. And then the other thing is some of these businesses that they have dumpsters for their garbage, and they're atrocious. They should be some kind like they do in Los Angeles where they cover it and they pay a fee to the city. Here, they just put a container anywhere they want. And the other thing, these closed containers, we got to get them out. It's just not doing it's not helping us. If you I'll give you the container. There's a problem with that one. On Montclair Avenue and on Montclair and Clifton Avenue, there's one that sits there and it's just, and then these companies who are benefiting from these clothes bins they're just making it horrible. Clothes all over the place. We can do better. And I know you've done, every time I've called you, your office, and you have been always responsive on the water side or on the Department of Public Works. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Quintana.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Council President, Councilman Quintana. Yes, I think, DPW, we've been working with the Department of Engineering, specifically code enforcement, just to make sure they're doing a little more enforcement around people with the garbage cans, right, where they're supposed to be put back. The container issue, especially the closed bins, I think we need to work with engineering again, just to find out if these containers that we see for the clothes or drop off shoes or clothes, that they got permits, because any container that's in the city is supposed to have a street or sidewalk permit. And if they don't, DPW can assist them in removing them. But first, if they were given a permit, we can't move the containers. But if they didn't have a permit, we can remove them. They used to see those containers sitting inside supermarkets or Home Depot, but now somehow they're finding their way back on the street. I know a couple of years ago, this administration removed a bunch of those containers off the street. So we need to go back and see if these new people that have containers have permits, working with engineering and code enforcement. If they don't, we can remove it. It's the same when you get a dumpster, right? You need a permit, right? I just missed something what Councilman Ramos was saying. Those individuals that are placing the trash in the street and on the curb. They're not just doing it in the North Ward, they're doing it all over. We have stepped up enforcement in the last 2 weeks when we moved the sanitation inspectors back with us. So we did step up enforcement on those known areas, including over there on Mount Prospect, 3rd and 2nd Avenue, and Mount Prospect a little further down. I think that's Silver Street or Coit Street. No, Summer Avenue, around the Coit Street. So we have stepped up around that place, including Locke and Nutman. You know, when you ride by NGIT, that building right there, they like to set their stuff out. So if it's Lehigh, Elizabeth Avenue, so we are stepping up enforcement with our code enforcement inspectors helping us and the sanitation inspectors.
Thank you. Last question from Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes, it's regarding the festivals and the amount of garbage that is created and left after these festivals. Are we paying our people overtime to do that, or is that the regular job to go out there on a Saturday or Sunday or in the evening to collect all that garbage that is left behind? And if that's overtime, are we trying to collect that money from the sponsors of these events? Even if the city is the sponsor of the event, someone should be responsible for paying for those for the overtime incurred.
Council President, Councilman Gonzalez, yes, it's a little bit of overtime and regular time, but we do submit those invoices to the administration prior to us going to those events, what we anticipate the cost will be, estimated cost of what it'll be for our employees to staff those events.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will just say one more thing and just add this too. I agree 100% with what Councilman Quintana was saying regarding the cans that are put on the side of the house or in front of the house. I unfortunately drive by almost all the time. So I hope enforcement has stepped up. I mean, the city could probably make $100,000 in one day just going by and finding all the folks in certain areas that we see. And I know you know those areas, the department knows those areas. So maybe that's something hopefully that can be done in an even larger fashion. I know you just mentioned it, but let's continue to do that. So thank you so much. Very
So,
last one.
Just one question. I noticed that you didn't put on here Waydell or Earl and all that stuff. And so I really believe in locations like that in the south, in the west, in the north, in the east, that I encourage people to use the Waydell Street site, to go there. That way it actually gives your guys less to do. So maybe it's too late, but if somehow we can encourage those locations and for residents to use those locations.
Thank you, Council President, Councilman Silva. So that was mainly just to inform people when to put their trash and stuff out. You know, coming behind that, when you scan that QR, you'll go to the website, but our communications list will still be letting people know that Waydell is open. I don't know if you know, last year when we rolled it out, we did like a billboards all throughout all 5 wards in the city, talking about those locations, right? So we'll be looking to do that again.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next presentation will be regarding the street paving status. Director Wooten.
Good morning, Council President, Council members.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for having Department of Engineering come up and give you an update on the paving operations citywide. I have with me Mr. Sean Savage, who is the leader of the Traffic and Signals Division, the manager of the Traffic and Signals Division. So we're going to give you a brief update of the paving operations. So today, on the second slide, you can see that we've completed 10.85 miles citywide. And these are comprised, you can see on the third slide. Sorry. On the third slide, you can see the overall locations of where the paving to date have taken place. We are targeting almost 22 miles citywide to achieve in 2025. As you may recall, we sent you a couple of months back a paving update of tentative dates and locations scheduled for 2025. We are glad to share with you that all the locations we sent to you a couple of months back have been completed. The second set of locations were locations being completed by PSENG due to the gas replacement project that is ongoing citywide. Those locations have been completed to date as well, the ones that were shared with you back in July of 2022. So the couple of slides I showed you, the update that we provided in July, just to summarize, they have been completed. And we are going to move on, and I'm going to have Sean share with you what is forecasted for the rest of the season.
Good morning, good morning. The last slide, as indicated in the handouts, are the upcoming locations the engineering is put together. The list is detailed in the slide with the associated miles and total at the bottom.
Just wanted to make a quick note. There are other projects that qualify as a pedestrian and infrastructure project that do include some paving in them. We have a couple of projects in the East Ward and some projects on the South Ward that they're not necessarily just paving. So we just wanted to share that with you. When it comes to engineering, we think of those projects more pedestrian oriented and traffic calming, more so than paving. So what we're sharing with you today is, again, the paved to date and the upcoming forecasted paving. Again, we're trying to achieve almost 22 miles citywide of paving in 2025. With that, we'll be taking some questions.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Some time ago, the Highland Avenue between Abington and Berkeley was paved. However, I believe the two holes were made. I don't know if it was for the water connections, and the paving that was done is not of the best quality, and that you have like undulations, and you have let's say you have hills over the area that was constructed on, and that's true all over, let's say, the northward at least, where we have had repairs done by PSNG or the telephone company Verizon, and all of a sudden the street that was paved a couple of years ago is in bad shape again. So I don't know if we coordinate with and this is a question that I have been asking for the last 20 years or 19 years, 8 months and change. Why don't we coordinate so that we don't have to go back or they don't have to come and destroy what we have done and then not complete it the way that it was supposed to be completed? Why is that? Should be so easy to coordinate and to have it done once.
Hi, Councilmember. Yeah, we do coordinate with all the utility companies. Unfortunately, some of these subsurface deteriorations that occur, we don't see it until it happens. So even though we do our best to make sure we collaborate with the utility companies, these things do occur. And once they do occur, we have to go back and repair them.
But we have to make sure that the repairs that are done to the standard to the standard that it was prior to, because what they do is they fill it, but the filling normally recedes, and then you have a hole in most cases.
Just to add, Councilman Gonzalez, we do encounter a lot of emergency repairs that these companies do. I could share with you that we've been we're actively meeting with PSC&G because it's one of the, I don't want to call them culprits, but it's one of those companies that, if something comes up, they mobilize right away and they follow, a day or two after to let us know that took place. We are working with them to make sure that the moment that the street is opened up, that this, one of the first actions they do after that is to let us know what's going on, because regardless, even if it's an emergency repair, they need to get a permit out to let us know the condition and also for us to be able to reroute traffic. So, long answer short is that we are working with PSCNG in case of emergency, because what we do see in those instances is usually emergency repairs. They do what they got to do and they leave. Another thing that we're doing, just to share with you, is we're collaborating with code enforcement for street closures and sidewalk closures, to kind of have a little more control of what's going on and to keep an eye on any of the infrastructure repairs or to avoid that situation happens. So we're putting a couple of practices in place to tackle. I mean, it's going to take time because, it's been like that for a long time, but we're trying to proactively approach these instances.
Mr. President? Yeah, thank you, Council President. I just want to note that with the streets that have been completed to date, there isn't one street in the North Ward on this list. So, that's kind of disappointing. But I do see that there are a few streets that have been identified potentially for paving before the end of the year in the ward. I just want to bring to your attention two areas that I know they couldn't have been tackled during the lead service line replacement because they're technically, one street, there are no homes around it, and that's Heller Parkway from 6th Street down to, I would say, DeGraw Avenue or Lake. It's adjacent to the mediums there on Heller Parkway. Those areas are in pretty bad shape. We weren't able to get them paved during the lead service line replacement because it's adjacent to the park. There's no homes there. But if there's an opportunity for engineering to find a way to include that street, that would be helpful. We do have a New Jersey Transit bus that runs through there regularly. It's a heavily utilized road, and it's in pretty bad shape. The other street I want to highlight is Treadwell, between Clifton Avenue and Ridge. It's a very small street, which is probably in worse shape than Heller Parkway. We do have a few homeowners on Treadwell, and they call our office all the time, especially during snow season, because it's such a small street that sometimes the plows forget that it even exists, but it is in really bad shape. And if you guys can send someone out there to check it out, I don't think you could even fill potholes there at some point. You just have to repave it. And the last thing I want to bring up is my office had an opportunity to meet with the representatives from PSE&G. I know they're going to be doing gas line replacements all over the city, and that's going to require them to tear up the streets to pave. So, at some point, you may just want to share information with the council to let us know what areas are going to be covered by when. I know they have a construction schedule that they probably need approved through your office, so we can notify residents that their particular areas are going to be targeted as far as this replacement's concerned. So I think that's a good thing because they're going to be able to do some additional paving. But, it is a pretty ambitious project based on the plans that I saw. So.
Council member, we did look into grants for Heller Parkway, the Safe Routes to Transit and the Local Transportation Fund. Because of the light rail station, it qualified, so we're waiting to get hear back from the DOT.
Okay. And I know we've been working with PSE&G because they're committed to doing some improvements along the medians. Years ago, I had even asked them, rather than doing some of those improvements, would they be willing to do the paving for us or pay for the paving? That's also a possibility, right? So, they are committed to investing some resources in that area because that area was impacted by these big power lines that they put up some years ago. So they were supposed to make some improvements there. So I don't know if you guys can follow up with them about whether they're willing to do some paving or pave for the paving through the city.
Thank you, Councilman Ramos. I appreciate your comments. I did want to note, though, that you mentioned that the pipeline replacement project. We did do, a little bit over 27 miles in the north, which was good. And some of them, because we did achieve 18.57 miles last year. We had some locations, but to your point, there's other projects that we could explore, especially with collaboration with PSCNG. So I appreciate that you bringing those points up, and we're going to follow up with them as well as part of our partnership projects.
Thank you, Director, and thank you, Mr. Savage. Appreciate it.
Let me follow up on
Councilman Gonzalez.
on that. Let's say the bridge on Heller Parkway, that bridge has always been in bad condition. I have been living in the North Ward for 26 years, and I haven't gone through that bridge once that has been paved. Maybe has been paved, but the paving has been of probably lesser quality because you have a lot of bumps on that bridge. That's the one across the street from the fast food restaurant that is there. So it's something that needs to be done because it's I don't know how people don't have more problems with the say shock absorbers and car parts because I'm telling you it's really bad.
When it comes to bridges, we have to take extra care because once this equipment starts vibrating on top of the surface, stuff starts falling down underneath. So it's a collaboration between the netting companies, the light rail service. So like with Haynes Avenue, it took a collaboration to get that done. So we're working on it. We have a grant that we're trying to pursue. So we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Councilman Council.
Yeah, I'm not sure if forecasted means will start, will get completed, or is completed, because I haven't seen any of this work in the South Ward. East Runyon Street is a mess. Continuously ask for that and get pushed to the side about it. Cobblestone Road is tore up right by the Dunkin' Donuts and the old 7-Eleven. And so I just don't even know what the plan is. I know we're here having a discussion about it, but I still don't know because I haven't seen paving. And some of the things that, we continually work on, they just, all fall apart. So I guess it's just part of the entire plan just to continue to look past the South Ward. So, I don't know.
So Councilman Council, just to address your comment, I know that the project from Elizabeth Avenue, like was something major. Major. The approach is going to be the side streets connected. For example, Meeker is one of the targets that we have. We do have a list of locations to achieve 2.5 miles. By the end of the paving season, provided the weather permits. I do take your notes. There are some streets on the south that need a little more care. As you mentioned, the makeup of the street is a little different. But again, our approach is to, for example, from Elizabeth, a major thoroughway, to spread out into the side streets to have a more a completed approach to the project. We're welcome to meet with you and see what other locations we can put in plans and see if we have any funding left for the season citywide and see if there's any other locations that we could accommodate.
Councilman Kelly.
Just how you doing, Director?
Hi, Councilman.
I guess my question is similar to Councilman Council. When we say forecast, when will these projects be done? We have about 10 in the West Ward that hasn't been done yet, and I know that you have here that it is forecast to be done, and some are worse than others. But when are we looking to possibly get those done?
Keep in mind, because of the grants that we pursue, these grants have requirements. So locations you see in these forecasted sheets has a handicap ramp sidewalk component to it first. So that has to be done prior to any paving work. So that's why we had forecasted. We would like to have it done by this year. That comes down to the coordination with utility companies, affirmative action, and then, like I said, the handicap ramps and sidewalks. So once that's done, paving will commence.
So if the grants don't come in, and I'm asking this because I know when I first became councilman, there were some roads that I asked to get done, and you guys said, well, we can't do those to 2 years from now, and I see that some of those are done, and it's 3 years later, so will the forecast, due to the handicap restrictions and all of the other curbside restrictions, will this be 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Like, is the forecast, what is the time length of the forecast, the range of the time?
Okay. So with these locations that we're sharing with you today, the forecast is weather providing at the end of this year. Um, what Sean is referring to is you're not going to see the paving right away because the order of operations, a lot of our sidewalks are in very bad disrepair. When we carry out a city project, we are required to rebuild the sidewalks, which in turn also create the limits of our paving. So you're going to see a lot of the pedestrian components of it go in, and then towards the end, the paving part. When it comes to the operations, again, we want to mill once all those components are done, weather providing, because once we mill, we have to pave it. So it's going to, we're hoping for good weather. We're forecasting for the end of the year. When it comes to funding, this project MA23 is fully funded. We are just going, provided that the weather allows, and that's what I could share with you. And obviously we could, as weather progresses in a few weeks, we can get back to you to see where we are with the project.
So the
Yes.
residents in the West that live in these areas forecasted to be, if the weather permits, the end of this year, and if not, spring of 26?
Yes, if we don't get most of the locations done, we put them as a priority at the beginning of next season, which is about March.
Thank you.
No problem.
I guess got a couple questions in that. One, the 10.85 miles, is that all that the city has done, or does that include PSE&G?
Okay, so the 10.85 miles are collaboration, Council President.
Okay.
Um,
How
if
much of
you-
that has the city done?
I'm sorry?
How much of that is the city and how much is, I
Okay,
guess,
I don't know if
the
you have the
other?
breakdown, Sean. If you give us a moment, if we don't have the numbers, Council President, we'll provide them to you. But yeah,
I think it's like 20% city.
20% city and 80% is,
45, 50% PSCNG.
Mhm.
Essex County did a few, and I think water and sewer did a few, some locations.
water and sewer?
Yeah, so it's,
I couldn't hear that percentage
so
for
it's,
water and sewer.
it's state, Essex County, water and sewer, engineering, PSCNG.
And you said
And-
what
and then-
percentage from
and then
water and
private
sewer?
developments.
You said a percentage from water and sewer? I couldn't hear
I
that.
don't have the percentage.
Oh, you don't have that?
Yeah.
Okay. If we can get a.
we can definitely provide
that.
it to you, absolutely, Council President.
Thank you.
But we're trying to make sure that we have those collaborative projects done. One of the things that we've experienced, and I know the council has brought this up to us, that we pave and then these companies come in and do their project and repave again. So what we're trying to do is just do it at once, collaborate with them, let us know where their project is gonna be, so we don't end up paving and then they rip the street open.
Understood. The second question I have is just, it just seems like it's been a perfect storm in terms of school starting, a whole lot of paving going on. And I know most of the councils, not all the councils, have gotten complaints about traffic because of that. Is that mostly from, or where does that come from in terms of the paving? Is that from the city, or is that from PSNG emergency? What's the breakdown of that?
Sure. So there's two factors that have impact us this year, Council President. One, it has been, we've seen quite a lot of storms this summer, so a lot of the things that were planned for certain days had to be moved around. The other thing is the PSCNG project. It's a very dynamic project with locations in several streets at a time, so that creates a little bit of chaos. We do work with outside employment and PD. They're the ones that cover the operations to try to keep the area safe and to keep the students and everybody around, the pedestrian traffic clear from what's going on. But yeah, that's the nature of the project, unfortunately. It's not just, let's say, we cross the street and we do one street and we're out of there. It's little areas that they do so they can trench and still allow traffic to pass by.
Okay, and most of that is not necessarily what the city had intended to do. I mean, and I mean, that sound correct the way I say it, but the concern is the timing of it.
Mhm.
And so that timing was not a result of the city saying, we're gonna do it here at this time, just because.
Yeah. So we pre-plan, Council President. We try to have areas that are around school. We encourage them to do it overnight or off hours, to be out of the way. Again, one of the main challenges this year has been the storms, like a lot of sudden storms that we got in the middle of the day. And we cannot have them start the project. It's gotten pushed a little bit towards the school year. But the mentality typically is a lot of activity during the summer, out of the way of, the school year. Unfortunately, with the weather, we're wrestling the weather this year.
All right, thank you. Councilman Silva.
Director, just one question. I notice in red lettering here, work in progress, all that stuff. When all that comes about and everything comes together, does this still have to go out for bid, or these are bid and done already?
Okay, so the locations that we're sharing with you today, they're already set, they're already funded. Weather permitting, we are gonna get it done. If if everything falls into place, we could even have this done by the end of the year. We have not shown any forecast for next year or so on, because this is what we're focusing on, and that what we have secure funding for. We have a contractor, we're just moving forward with the project itself.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, with that being said, thank you very much, Director and Mr. Savage.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
We are concluded.